Hello and welcome to a special American Thanksgiving version of Self-Publishing Insiders Live. I'm Mark Leslie Lefebvre, and I'm the only non-American on the Drafts Digital team. So up here in beautiful Canada, where we warmed the U.S. up last month when we celebrated our version of Thanksgiving, Americans are celebrating Thanksgiving, and we are giving thanks. Authors giving a gratitude as well. But you know what? I thought it would be so lonely. So why not bring in a special surprise co-host, someone I love to have a good chinwag with, somebody I just saw recently at Author Nation just a few weeks ago in Vegas. But I'm going to bring up my very special surprise guest, the awesome, the one, the only, Sasha Black.
Hello.
Sasha.
Hi. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Great to see you again.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I'm so lucky to see you so many times this year.
Yeah, I know. It's so lucky, and I'm so grateful that you were willing to join me so we could actually have a good conversation about the things, about all the things as well, the things that we're grateful for as authors. So for people who if they don't know who you are, oh my goodness, you're in for a treat. Okay, so give us a bit of a background. Who is Sasha Black besides awesomeness?
Oh, stop. Okay, so Sasha is me, and as Sasha, I write nonfiction where I help writers, mostly on the craft side, sort of towards the end of the last book. I was starting to look at marketing a little bit, but mostly I look at craft of characters, and I run a podcast, the Rebel Author podcast, of which the ever lovely Mark has been a guest many times on there. I think you are one of the most frequently reoccurring guests. I know, right?
Yeah. and you rebelliously took over my podcast. I think it was for episode 200. You just kind of took over the whole show, and you were the guest.
I did.
Rebel
It was so naughty of me. And then kind of my fiction name is Ruby. So I write very spicy fantasy romance for queer people as Ruby. So
that's the Ruby Rowe name, right? That you write on?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Ruby Rowe. Yeah.
So you were talking before we went live. You were just talking about how you've done a bit of a pivot, because I mean I know you as the Rebel author. Love the podcast. You've done plenty of great books. I think that your Villains book is one of my favorite books for writers that you wrote. But then when Ruby is relatively recent, just in the last year or two.
Yeah, so the very first Ruby book launched in February 2023. So we're about a year and a half. We're actually coming up, well, yeah, just past the new year, it'll be 2 years. Wow. So, wow, that has gone fast, actually.
Wow. That is amazing. And it's something that you're enjoying, right? Your fans are loving. You've got like a whole new, you've got kind of like the two personas online, right?
Yeah, so it completely changed my life. Like, I love teaching. I love writing nonfiction. Yeah. I am, very grateful that was the start of my career, because I learned so much by studying the craft and then teaching the things that I'd learned.
Yeah.
But I also realized that wasn't why I'd left my day job. I left my day job because I'm a huge bookworm. I'm a nerd, like that is what I love doing, is writing stories. And so I basically took a huge financial risk, because nonfiction was like the entirety of my income. Like January 2023, it made up 98.6% of my income. Nonfiction did. Wow. So fiction was only 1.4% of my income. And so I did basically take a huge risk by not publishing nonfiction that year. And I'd sort of allowed everything to drop for the prior 6 months. And I'd written my first book as Ruby, and it launched in February, and it just kind of went from there. And then I reached a plateau, I would say, by about October, November. And I thought, okay, I'm earning more, but I'm not, it's not going to pay off the mortgage. And then in December, so just after Vegas 2023, I participated in a TikTok challenge. And so I was looking at the dates, because I actually, so we're talking about gratitude today. Yeah. And I do kind of 1/2 things. I have this, I probably shouldn't show it. I'll cover the word because it's a naughty word, but it says a swear word, brilliant. And it's a 5-year diary. And every day I either write down something I'm grateful for or a win.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
And
love
so I
that.
was looking at the dates, and it was actually December the 8th, 2023, that I went viral. And
Wow.
that was the day that changed my life. And as of July 2024, so July this year, non-fiction was 1.2% of my income. So it was a complete 180 in about 18
Wow.
months. Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. So I love this gratitude journal. I actually, when I invited you to come do this gratitude, I had no idea you had this journal. That is so cool.
So I am a huge lover of gratitude, and I ask my son every dinner, every night at dinner, what he's grateful for, what he's proud of, and what he's excited for the next day. So I really love that is the topic of today, because I love gratitude. I try and live grateful for everything, all the time. So yeah.
That is amazing. And we had, so I put out a form a few days ago, just asking authors to share what they were grateful for. So we have a bunch of pop-ups that I put in together. But I want to share some comments, because Beth Cox says, had to pop into here. Two of my favorite podcasters together before the turkey show starts. Thanks, Beth. We also had Beth also says, Sasha, you simply skyrocketed with Ruby Row.
I did. It's wild. I'm still kind of reeling from the the whiplash of it.
Well, that is fantastic. And Guillaume says, hi, Sasha. I'm in the UK too, and I write spicy stories too. Erotic comedy.
I love it.
And I have to say this, I am so grateful for the folks who watch SPI Live and comment and interact. It feels like a family. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for your comments and for being there. Oh, and of course, Tina just popped up. See, so share your gratitude in the comments as well. Tina Holland says, I'm thankful to have met Mark at Author Nation. Tina, thank you. I am grateful that we had a chance to meet as well. That is awesome. And again, Beth says, great questions to ponder over every dinner. So, and again, I'm going to bring up another one from Tina. Also grateful for this wonderful community. And I will say this on behalf of the Draft to Digital team. We are so grateful for the author community. So grateful, not just for the community, and we get to hang out and chat with great people like Sasha and bring you weekly, the lives and stuff like that. But we get to interact with authors all the time on a day-to-day basis as you go to work and publish your books. And it is, I was just talking about this on my own social media this morning, that I'm just so lucky. I'm so grateful. I get to do what I get to do. I get to write and I get to work with authors. I mean, come on, two of the coolest things in the world.
Yeah, I honestly feel grateful every single day for this opportunity. And even when I wasn't writing full time, I still tried to be really grateful for the journey that I was on, because, we never know. We never know if we're going to make it. So you have to live grateful for the chances and the time that you get to write, I think.
Yeah. No, that is fantastic. And I'm going to bring up some, actually, between the ones we bring up from the folks who pre-submitted their gratitude, I thought you and I could continue to share some of the things we're grateful for. But I have a video clip, because it being American Thanksgiving, I am so grateful for the writers and the artists who've inspired me, just as a person, who've made me laugh, who've made me think, who've made me cry, who've made me feel things, which is what storytellers do. And I want to share a clip from one of my absolute all-time favorite Thanksgiving movies ever, because I can't really think of that many Thanksgiving movies. So we'll just pop this up. If I can find it, here it is.
I know you, don't I? I'm usually very good with names, but I'll be damned if I haven't forgotten yours.
You stole my cab.
I've never stolen anything in my life.
I hailed a cab on Park Avenue this afternoon, and before I could get in it, you stole it.
You're the guy who tried to get my cab. I knew you, yeah. You scared the bejesus out of me. Come to think of it, it was awful easy to get a cab during rush hour.
Forget it.
Oh, I can't forget it. I am sorry. I had no idea that was your cab. Let me make it up to you somehow, huh, please? How about a nice hot dog and a beer?
No thanks.
Just a hot dog, then.
I'm kind of picky about what I eat.
Some coffee.
No.
Milk?
No.
Soda?
No.
Some tea?
No.
Lifesavers?
No.
Slurpee?
Sir, please.
Just let me know. I'm here. I knew you.
I knew you. Sorry, I love that. I love that movie so much. John Candy, fellow Canadian actor, and John Hughes, who is the writer. Are you familiar with that script? Because I mean, in the UK, you don't really celebrate Thanksgiving, right?
No, I am only aware of it because of you.
Because of my insanity. and I'm grateful not just for these two amazing creative geniuses, and it's a movie I watch every single Thanksgiving and Christmas, because why not? It is a movie that makes me laugh. It's a movie that makes me cry. But I spotted the book that John Candy was holding, and I released it as a trivia book a couple years ago, and I honestly thought about 35 other people in the entire world were nerdy enough like me, who saw the book, went, "Ooh, cool, that's neat," and would get excited about it. And it is, in terms of my self-published titles, it is the best-selling, one of my best. Yeah, I know. And I was not thinking about anything other than passion and writing something that truly resonates in my heart. And I'm so thankful that there's more than 35 other people out there like me.
I genuinely feel like the moment that we choose ourselves and truly dig into the thing that is most us, that is when we see success with our indie titles. Honestly, I see it time and time and time again. Like, we have to kind of unshed these expectations that other people place on us, and then when we actually dig into this is just for me, this is just this thing that I need to do, this fun project or whatever, that is when we always see success. I hear it so many times.
Is that part of what you think with Ruby? Because it was Ruby writing the story
100%
in your heart. And look at that. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Basically, I hadn't ever really read queer fiction, and I read I think it was the middle of 2022, I read a spicy sapphic book, and it was like I was so emotional during this book, and I was like, oh my goodness me, is this what other people read? Like, is this their reading experience? Yeah. And it was the first time that I'd kind of seen me in it, and then I was like, hold on a second, why am I writing straight romance when I'm a queer woman? And yeah, it was just this unshedding of like expectations and judgments, and and then and that's why I wrote in secret. I wrote the very first Ruby book in secret and didn't tell anybody what I was doing.
Yeah.
No, and it's because it was just for me. And it was only when I'd finished that I was like, actually, I don't mind sharing this now, because it's done. I can't undo it. I've already written the thing that I wasn't supposed to write, So yeah, 100%. I believe that's what happens.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that, because life is so short. Why not do? My kid, for example, was taking something in college, and into second year said, "Dad, I am not liking this anymore." And I said, "You're 19. Don't go and spend your whole life doing something you don't like." I am one of the luckiest people in the world. I love every single day. Yeah, it's not, the days aren't easy. There's hard work, and there's lots of stuff that comes up that's not fun. But oh my God, I'm so lucky that I get to love the things that I've done. And that's been most of my adult life. So it's kind of like, I'm like, no, do what you want. Drop out of this program and take something else. And now they're just absolutely resonating with with the computer programming, with that program. And I was like, and yay, unlike what I did, English language and literature, unlike what I did, it's practical.
Yeah, there's quite a clear trajectory there.
Yeah. So, all right, some more comments. Actually, I'll read a couple comments, and then I want to get into something, a recent gratitude from Sasha to share. So, okay, so this one here, related to just what we talked about. Beth asks, Mark, how many times do you watch a movie to write a trivia book? I actually lose count, Beth. I usually only have picked books that are movies that I've already watched 50, 60, 70 times. Usually books I've watched at least once or twice or three times a year. And again, there's something about that. There's that, it's like comfort food. when you need to just watch something that you know intimately. But with I just finished working on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is coming out in December, and it's not just watching the movie, because I will watch it. Like, I watched it once with Liz recently, just as sort of just to refresh and look for missing things I might have missed in the book. But then I'll go and watch it and pause and rewind and watch the scene again, because I'm looking for bloopers and I'm looking for the little nuances, or I'm looking for like any little things, because I sometimes will put the time code for other nerds like me who want to find it. So it's like, yeah. So recently, let's say in November, as I was finalizing the work on the book, I may have watched the hour and a half movie or hour and 45-minute movie. I may have spent about 8 hours watching it, but just watching like the same little clip and looking for this little thing. So it gets obsessive. Okay, a few other things. Let's see. So Beth also says, I'm grateful we have the technology today to hear such inspiring stories. Guillaume says, I'm grateful for D2D because they have a wide variety of platforms, including some of the best buildings in the world, libraries. And Sasha, as a library, as an author, are your books available in the libraries in the UK, and do you take advantage of public lending rights?
So I do. I do get PLR payments, and they do increase year on year.
Yeah.
What I will say is that it's not as easy to get into libraries in the UK, because you can like go into your library and try and talk to the head of the library, and they just won't take your books. So
Yeah.
even if you donate, they're just not interested. So you have to, I don't know, it's a bit of an odd way around. I must be in libraries because I get PLR payments. But
Oh, that's good.
yeah, but and it's beyond me how it happens. I do use D2D though, so
They're getting, like, the ebooks are getting there through libraries.
yeah.
Cool. So another comment is, so Tina says, this is related to what you were talking about before, as far as resonating, it's a good recommendation to write what you want.
Ooh, so I have so many opinions on that. I will caveat what I said, because, and this is very difficult to say for people to hear, but I do believe that there's a bit of a Venn diagram. If you want to write for your passion and you're not worried about sales, then you can absolutely just do that. If you want to sell your stories, then your stories are no longer about you. They are about the customer and the reader, because in order to sell, you have to deliver something that they want. That said, I do truly believe that you can find, like, if you have the circle of what readers want, the circle of what you want, there is a Venn diagram, and that crossover, that's where you should be writing. And that's what I try and do.
That's the magic. Were we separated at birth? Because I use Venn diagrams all the time when I talk about my target audience, about the things they love and where they intersect and stuff. Now, the one caveat I will say, because I've worked in the industry for long enough to know that most books don't sell. Therefore, the only guarantee of happiness is being happy doing the thing you love.
Yeah.
And then if you sell books, that's gravy, or whatever sauce you prefer to add to your. See, it's turkey and stuff that going on in America today. So I figured gravy and cranberry sauce and all the things. Gotta go.
You're just stuffing those catchphrases in on you. I brought my best dad joke for you.
My God, you're such a turkey.
Oh, I'm so full of all of these jokes.
Oh yes, full.
Oh dear, awesome. We need to stop.
Thank you. I forgot we shared dad jokes.
We do share dad jokes. I'm not as good as you, though. I'm not as good as you. I have to. That's why it took me a second to like intellect before I could get it out.
Still love it. Back to seriousness. This comment from Beth, and I think this is such an important thing. Beth says, "Seeing yourself in fiction is so important. It's why I include women with disabilities and illnesses in my books."
Yeah. Oh, completely agree. And I'm very grateful that there are brave people out there, including such diverse characters, that we can go and read and learn and, not just have a whitewashed fiction library. You know, I'm very grateful for those stories. I actually actively try to read stories from diverse authors.
Yes.
So yeah, I completely agree.
No, same here. I try to make a point of actually looking to see who the author is, where they're from, and particularly if their own experience and their perspective is not similar to my own, because that's how I'm going to learn and grow as a reader. So Beth says, speaking of libraries, Sasha looks like she's sitting in a colorful library. I do love the color. Is that a scheme? Did you just do them by color? Or?
So I'm not very good at remembering book titles or author names, but I'm very, very visual. So I always remember what's on the cover. So this is actually how I find my books. So I'll be like, oh, you know, it's the book with the pink spine and the number on it and the title, and it's a grey cover. And that's the book 4 by Ellie Keel, which is just here.
Oh my God.
So yeah, like I don't know how I do that. It's so much so. My patron community, we played a game once and they had snapped a picture of my background and zoomed in and looked at all the titles. And I think they tested me on like 10 titles or something. I only got one wrong. I could tell them what was on every single cover.
See,
having them from my shelf.
Having been a bookseller, this is a story booksellers will share. If somebody will come in and say, you heard this on BBC Radio or here in Canada, CBC or NPR in the US. See, I can speak all the languages. They heard this book and the author was on this morning on this whatever show and it's blue. That's a blue spine. I'm like, Sasha would get that one because I would go, blue spine. Could you tell me what the author talked about? Like, give me some hints.
Yeah, I would. Honestly, it's so weird. I can't, like, somebody actually took the mick out of me and was like, oh, that, you know, what are you going to do? Just find the red one with the skull on it. And I was like, yeah. And that promptly made them be quiet.
We do a Christmas tree every year out of books. Liz builds a gorgeous, like 7-foot tall tree of books in our living room. That's the only Christmas tree that we put up. And somebody had commented, because she does them by spine width, right? Like all the layers are all the same. So she gets all the books and then measures them and then puts them all out in layers. And then somebody had commented because the Stephen King's Insomnia is white and orange, and it's a giant, like it's a phone book sized book. And it just stands out because it's that colored spine as well. So
I love it.
Awesome. All right, so let's bring up some of those pre-gratitudes, the Thanksgiving gratitudes from some of the authors. I have to go find where I loaded them, and let's pop them up. If only I could find things. Okay, so this is the first one, and we can kind of let our comments on that. So this is from Russell Phillips, who says, I write military history, nonfiction, and I'm grateful for the connections I've made. Occasionally, I get emails from relatives or people who were involved in the things I write about. They are frequently fascinating and always illuminating, enhancing my, and of course, I must have cut that off in the visual, so I'm going to go enhancing my, and I have to go find, just bear with me, enhancing my, I have to go back to the forms. Shame on me for doing that. I should have double checked that. Enhancing my understanding of the subject. Whew, good thing I had that screen open still.
I love that though. That's so lovely that, you know, people can help to influence and build. Yeah, because, you know, what book is really written in isolation? None really.
Yeah, it is. And it is, I mean, really, you talked about this as well. And I think this is the same as Russell was talking about. The book's connecting with people. He learns more from the readers after hearing from them. And then obviously they maybe don't feel so alone because somebody else gets it. Somebody else has put the things that they were feeling into words. Were you there at Author Nation when Kevin Smith was talking about his father and going to the movies? I know because we're UK time, so that was late in the evening.
Yeah, I left. No, I think I'd flown home at that point.
Oh, you'd already on your way home.
Yeah.
He talked about his father was one of the stoic, sort of stiff upper lip kind of fathers who never really showed emotion or whatever. And it used to take him to movies because that's what they would share. And he remembers seeing his dad crying during a movie. And it was one of only 2 times in his life. And he said he wanted to be a writer because there were people like his father who have all the same feelings that we can express easily, more easily as writers. but the writing and the story and the movies and all the things that we do, the music and all the art that creative people create helps bring that out in people because they may not have the words for the feelings they have. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. I love that so much.
Oh, yeah, that is amazing. There's a bit of an in joke with my readers now that I'm actually nourished by their tears.
Oh,
And like, it's true. Like, if I don't get people crying, then I feel like I've not done my job. And they call me like the tear vampire and stuff because I love it. Like, they'll send me pictures of them crying and I'm like, yeah.
But there's something cathartic. I know I was talking about planes, trains, and automobiles. I've seen the movie 100 times. I laugh at the same things I've laughed at 100 times. And it's not a surprise. It's not the surprise humor. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. And I cry at the same spots too. There's a couple spots in the movie, three times in the movie, I find tears in my face.
No
Because
way.
there's just the humanity of it all and just the connection between two people who shouldn't get along. Like all of those things. And that, as a storyteller, when you get those tears from your readers, you're like, yes, I reached you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how powerful that we can evoke that in somebody else. And yeah, I don't know. Stories are a kind of magic. I swear that they are our world's actual form of magic. Because
Yes.
not only can we make people feel, we can create images in their brains as well. Like, and they're never the same image in two people's different, different minds. They see the character slightly differently. Or stories are magic as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, love that. And then, of course, Beth says, Sasha, you need a cool bottle to catch those tears.
I need like a whiskey flask.
Yeah, of course.
Just walk around trying to capture all the reader tears.
And then, of course, some of your patrons would want to buy those tears. You see?
No, I need them. I need them to fuel the next book.
Awesome. And then Beth also says, book tree awesome. Do you take it down by reading the books? No, but it is a great way to get the bookshelves dusted once a year. We take them off the shelves. Although here's the thing that does happen. Liz will take the books. She can't touch my signed copies, which are here. So those don't go on the tree. But she touches the ones in other rooms in the house. And what is always the case, I see a book because I buy books and then I don't read them for 10 years. And I see a book, I'm like, oh, I want to read that. And I suddenly want to read it now that it's at the bottom of the tree and I'm going to Jenga and pull the whole thing down.
Yep, definitely. Like when I go to unhaul and then I'm like, no, I need to read that one. Yeah.
All right, let's share the next one. This one comes from Elizabeth Andre. This is a Thanksgiving from authors. So Elizabeth says, after 10 years of writing and self-publishing, I am more creative than ever. My writing is stronger. I'm able to make money off a genre that I love, but that many people think is unprofitable. That's okay. I'll take care of it.
Oh, I'd love to know what the genre was.
Yeah, I was hoping that we get more. Elizabeth, if you are watching live, do comment and let us know the genre. But I love that. It's kind of like, no, I'm writing a genre I love. And apparently the Venn diagram there works because there's readers. She loves writing it. And that is, again, that's another kind of magic too, right? All righty. Let's pop up Eve. So Eve says, I'm grateful for the respite that writing provides on the weekends. With 2 tiny kids, it's easy to get exhausted and cranky, and making time to write always helps me recharge. So you're familiar with this little person in the house, right? that can actually be a lot, right?
Yeah. I used to write in any spare second I possibly could. So I would write on my phone. I'd, write a sentence whilst I was in the coffee queue or sat waiting for a meeting to start when I still had my day job. I'd literally and by the end of the day, sometimes I'd have a whole 500 words because there were 3 minutes here and 4 minutes there and 2 minutes there. And,
Wow.
when you're that narrow. Yeah. But I tell you, snatching that time was hard.
Yeah. I started getting up early. I had to go and commute into work, and I would write on the GO train before internet was available when you were commuting. So it was perfect because I wasn't online. I was actually able to just focus on my words. And then I just started getting up early or staying up late when everyone else in the house was asleep, because I am so easily distracted by other people, and I need to be in solitude.
Have you ever done your Clifton Strengths?
Recently, yeah.
What are they? Because I wonder what your people strengths are, because that's what maybe why you get distracted.
I'm high empathy. So I tend to be in tune with what's going around me, and that can be detrimental to my focus. So,
What's your number one strength?
ah,
You can tell me after if you want.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dad jokes? No, that's not in. So, beer? No, that's a different one. Okay, all right. Let's go. Well, comments are flying in. I'm just trying to keep up. Ready. So, this is from Margaret, who says, "Hello, very excited and grateful for Small Business Saturday this weekend." Small Business Saturday. Is this? Oh, yeah. I guess it's after. So Black Friday in the U.S. Massive shopping day, and then Small Business Saturday is obviously where you want to go and make sure you're supporting local businesses that actually really charge a community up. So that's fantastic. I love that. And let's see what else. I'm trying to get caught up with. And Guillaume says, okay, so this was an answer to our question. Elizabeth Andre writes lesbian romance. Oh my God, I know this. I know Elizabeth. I know who the authors are who write Elizabeth. Stupid me.
I'm going to have to go and look them up. And I get what they mean about, people thinking that it doesn't sell, because that was, I was told by 4 separate people not to write what I was going to write because they were like, it won't sell.
Yeah, they are a couple who write under Elizabeth Andre, and I actually interviewed them. And of course, I sometimes call a blank. Of course, I knew that I recognized the name, but I didn't make the placement. I met them in Vegas probably, I think, 3 years ago, maybe.
No way.
If not 4 years ago. And they do some really amazing things with their newsletter and stuff, all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, duh. Thank you, Guillaume, for reminding me. See, regular Guillaume, who watches these and participates every week, remembers way better than I do. So, all right, let's go to the next one is from Lisbeth. Lisbeth shared, I am grateful for the supportive community of writers and readers that I've met over the last several years.
Really is one of the most supportive communities, I think.
Yeah, I just love that we kind of have each other's backs. We get each other, right? We understand the madness that we possess as writers and creatives.
Do you know what it is? I think it's found family. I think our community represents found family, because as kids, a lot of writers were slightly unusual. We had quirks. We were interested in things that weren't necessarily seen as cool. So we were often on the outside. Yes. But then as adults, we have adult money that we can spend on adult things, except we're still spending them on the things that our 13-year-old selves liked. And now we find each other and we're able to share.
Oh my God. Yeah,
things,
no,
right?
It's so true.
Yeah.
You found your people finally. Yeah. And I did. I grew up in a small mid-northern Ontario town, not redneckish, but close enough to redneckish. And I was a little bit more in touch with my anima. I was a little bit softer as a person and not the generic. I know I look kind of like a tough guy, but I'm not really at all. It's just an exterior look. And I didn't fit in. I didn't hunt. I wasn't really into sports and stuff. I'd rather just read a book and go enjoy nature and do the weird things. Finally, when I met nobody else I knew. Although there are 2 other people from my grade 13 class. So there's only 33 of us. 2 others that I know who've actually written books. And published books, which is absolutely amazing. But in high school, I didn't even know that there were other people who wanted to write. I mean, I had one friend, but so I was the outcast. I was the weirdo. So, all right, let's pop up this one from William. William Brinkman says, I'm grateful to live in a time when self-publishing is accessible to the public. I doubt my first novel would have been published by one of the big 5 publishers. I'm also thankful to Draft to Digital for distributing my books to other retailers, so I'm not dependent on the whims of Amazon. So, yeah, self-publishing is actually accessible. Sasha, we have opportunities that our forebearers, the previous writers who came before us, they didn't have those options, right?
There's even more. I mean, you've been around longer than I have, even in self-publishing, I think. But I joined in, I was in the community in 2014, but I didn't publish until 2017. Yeah. And even since 2017, there's so many more opportunities now than there were. Like, it's incredible what I know lots of people are, worried or scared, but I am more excited than I have ever been because of the level of opportunities. Like, technology and software are giving us so many variables, and there's almost I'm seeing like a fracturing in the community, and there are so many more business models now, which I think is fantastic, because there is a business model to suit everybody's needs, and that is exciting to me.
No, I agree with you. No, I started in writing. I mean, 40 years ago was when I got my very first rejection from CBC Radio for a literary contest where I sent them a horror story. Probably not a good idea. But my very first self-published book was in 2004, 20 years ago, my very first self-published book. So, I mean, this was back in the day when you had to mail manuscripts away and wait for your direction and all that stuff. So this self-published book was print on demand only. There was no Ingram Spark, so I had an account with a sort of the back end of Ingram Spark, Ingram Lightning Source, that actually powers the print on demand. And you had to really know how to format books back then. But having worked in the book industry, I did it. And then, I mean, my very first ebook didn't come out. I think I might have manually hand-coded the EPUB. Back in the day when us writers had to walk up to school and 10 feet of snow, bare feet, uphill both ways, that kind of stuff. And it was Amazon and Smashwords were the only two options, right? I had Amazon, KDP, and they were only giving 35%, by the way. They didn't start giving 70% until Apple started doing that a year or two later. And that's all I had. And now audiobooks, and you can have large print. I mean, thanks to tools like Vellum as well, you can easily make a large print book. And I know Draft to Digital will be adding that in 2025 with the templates and stuff. So technology just keeps building for us.
And even going on beyond that, I know this isn't relevant for everybody, but we are even getting access to opportunities that were previously restricted to traditional publishers. For example, like, obviously, the more bespoke books, the special editions that we're able to do. But for me, I'm now looking at print runs, which, like, as an indie author, that's not something that I ever thought I would be doing. But actually, it doesn't make any sense for me anymore to be running print on demand, because the margins are so different. So like, it's even, but we even have the ability to make those networks and connections with companies that do longer print runs, and have, it's so exciting.
Yeah. No, I love that. And then even one of the things, I think, Johnny Beecher did a talk on artisan books and the resurgence of that. And we're now seeing, particularly with, instead of the rush to market and rapid releases and stuff like that, we're now looking at those, our mutual friend Joanna Penn has done these gorgeous books with Book Vault. And, I've got the nice signed copies over there, all the shiny things. And it's kind of like, yeah, I could read the ebook, and I do listen to the audiobook, because I'll still buy the audiobook and listen to it. But I want to have this nice, beautiful thing, right?
Yep, 100%.
All right, so let's, the last pre-submitted thanks comes from fellow Canadian author, not too far from here where I am in Canada. Angelique Fawn says, I'm thankful to the Superstars Writing Seminars for firstly awarding me the Eric Flint, he's one of the founders, who's passed away, Eric Flint Scholarship in 2024 at exactly the right moment in my life that I needed it. Secondly, I'm incredibly grateful for the tribe of new friends and mentors I met in Colorado during that week. This auspicious occurrence gave me the bravery to complete my first novel, and find confidence in helping others promote their work. Oh, I love that. So she found her tribe, right? She found her people. She found you said found family. I love that term.
That is genuinely what it feels like. It's such a supportive community of like-minded people. And yeah, I don't know, feels, and it's strange, isn't it? Because in that trope, like when you read that trope, there's like an instant connection, and it's like an acceptance for who that person is. And that's what I feel like this community is. It doesn't matter what you write. If you write, you are accepted. And that is just so magical.
Oh man, no, I love that as well. I love the openness that we have in the author community. For example, I saw this comment. I'm going to try and why is it not scrolling? My thing won't scroll. I can't control the screen. There it is. And it was Matthew says, "Can I mention my YA superhero novella?" So I love the fact that authors want to share and they want to be part of the community. And I bet you, Matthew, you're probably grateful that that you had this novel in you and you wrote it and you put it out there. And that's what Angelique talked about. Is I know Angelique. I know she worked for 30 years in the copywriting for television, like for writing ads for television shows here for a Canadian broadcaster as well. So she was writing sales copy basically for other people's products. So she was already endowed to be able to write sales copy really, really well because she did it professionally for decades. But she had never written a novel. She had only done short fiction, and she's a brilliant short fiction writer. So I love the fact that somebody can, you probably get this with the Rebel Author podcast. You get, listen, I know, because I've heard comments, people who listen to your podcast and don't feel alone anymore because you're sharing with them on a regular basis.
Yeah. And well, I have no filter.
But that's something that is endearing to you. Oh, no, you do have a filter because you've been you have not been naughty. You have not said naughty words during this broadcast, so you can apply that filter.
Yeah, but I think I don't apply it on my own podcast.
No, but that's authenticity that people are getting, right?
Yeah. But that's the bit, right? Like I feel like a lot of us are authentic in this community, and that is why we connect so well.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely amazing. So as we're getting close to the end, so Sasha, what's we never dug into one of your gratitudes.
Oh my goodness me, I'm so grateful for so many. Well, I'm grateful to be here. I love that you asked me. Yesterday, I got to take Rachel McLean out for lunch, and I was very, very grateful. She let me take her for lunch in order to pick her brains, and I took away a ton of ideas and stuff. So I'm very, very grateful to her today. I'm kind of full of excitement from that chat. So yeah, I would say that is my gratitude today, is to her.
Oh, that's awesome. So I want to dig into that. So you wanted to take her out to lunch to pick her brain. So it was probably a frightening thing for you. Probably you're like, oh, should I ask?
Yeah. So it was basically it was our dear friend Joanna who said to me, if you want to be a 7-figure author, then you should go and find out what 7-figure authors are doing. So I was like, right, yeah, that's extremely sensible advice. So I spent my whole Vegas, actually prior to Vegas,
that's why you never talked to me.
Literally, I was back to back to back
you
to
didn't
back.
Want to be a 5-figure author.
Oh, stop it! No, I was back to back to back because I had pre-planned and I'd reached out to people asking if I could take them for coffee, take them for cocktails, like happy to buy them dinner, in exchange for basically picking their brains. And someone did sort of say to me, oh, well, that's because you've got such a big network. And I was like, actually, I hadn't met 3/4 of the people that I took out for dinner. I just reached out and asked, and some were busy and some were not, and that's the way that it goes. But yeah, you just have to ask. But I'm very, very grateful to everybody who let me ply them with coffee, booze, and dinner.
But what I love about that, the lesson there is you didn't self-edit, you didn't self-reject, you reached out. And I know you seem outgoing, and we were talking about this before I introduced you when you were on stage on the Thursday. And again, you are like myself, potentially an omnivert, right?
I'm a diehard introvert, but I play a very, very good extrovert game. And so here's the difference, right? I love the stage. I get a lot of energy by being on the stage, but the minute I come off the stage and I have to do the one-to-one thing, it sucks all the energy. I kind of think in an extroverted way. I think I love to bounce ideas, and so I think that's why I can come across really extroverted. But certainly, if you ask me how I get my energy or where I get my energy from, is by being alone, no questions. So yeah.
Oh man. Well, I am so glad you were willing to hang out with me today on this special American Thanksgiving episode. Sasha, I am again so grateful for you as a friend. I'm so grateful for all the amazing things you do for the author community. And I'm grateful that you have put your love and passion into Ruby Row, and look at the lives you're changing and all those readers. So thank you on behalf of all your readers too.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you to Drafted Digital and to you and your amazing books for authors and your podcast that I adore. And yeah, thank you for everything that you do.
Awesome. It's just such a love fest. But again, so thank you, Sasha, for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for watching, for participating. We are running up to the 45-minute mark where we want to close the show out. Those of you from America watching this either today or watching this just after, hope your Thanksgiving is absolutely amazing. Hope that you've taken the time, like Sasha does in that amazing book she has, to just share some gratitudes about the world. Now, if you have not ever done self-publishing before, you can take advantage of, whoops, and that's the wrong one. Yeah, start your self-publishing career over at Draft to Digital. You can always get insights over at ddd.tips/insights as well. There's a promotion form for authors. If you're publishing through DDD, go to ddd.tips/DDD promotion form. And yeah, amazing. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel in particular. It helps us grow the community so we can bring in amazing guests like Sasha. And be sure, so you don't miss out, our weekly SPI, Self-Publishing Insiders Live. Go to dddlive.com. And again, you can sign up for a free account at draftdigital.com. Sasha, again, thanks for hanging out with me today. And thank you guys for watching.
Ebooks are great, but there's just something about having your words in print. Something you can hold in your hands, put on a shelf, sign for a reader. That's why we created DDD Print, a print-on-demand service that was built for you. We have free, beautiful templates to give your book a pro look, and we can even convert your ebook cover into a full wraparound cover for print. So many options for you and your books. And you can get started right now at draftdigital.com.